Oh my gosh, what a good episode. Again, I think it's more of an episode that contributed to the overall excellence of the season more than amazing in and of itself. But something really beautiful happened here tonight with Vytas. I think that by surviving these past two tribal councils, Vytas has earned the right to win the game and the right. He deserves it. If he makes it to the final three, Vytas, I think, has an extraordinary chance of winning, and I would be so excited for him to do it. Like, I love him, but I thought it was definitely the right decision to vote him out for several reasons, including the fact that Aris was still in the game, and Aris is also a huge threat in and of himself. So just huge props to Vytas, but I'll get to that. Let's rewind a little bit and start with Kat. So, Kat's quote at the end of last episode when she arrived on Redemption Island about how no one wants to date anyone who doesn't make the merge, I feel like became one of the more popular quotes of all of last week's episode, despite not actually being in the episode proper. And we should have left it at that, or she should have left it at that, but unfortunately it just kind of kept going on, and I just really felt sorry for Kat. I mean, I don't really know what Hayden sees in her, but I like them as a couple, and I feel like they have a relationship that, like, I don't think Hayden's that shallow, and I think that they have something that works for them, and this game wasn't going to break them up. If they do break up, it would be for other reasons. But I also thought Hayden played Kat well. I mean, he clearly made her feel like he would have switched for her, but he asked her to think on the long term, and at the end of the day, he got the right result, which was to get Kat to compete, and unfortunately, she didn't make it, but I definitely think if Kat had gone back in the game, it would have just been like lose-lose for both of them. Like, she would have just been gone like the week after or something. Although if she'd made it back in the merge, maybe she would have been taken as a GOAT, but still, she would have had zero chance of winning. So I think that was a better move for them as a couple, long term, as he puts it. I don't really think overall, like, in the strategy of the season that it was planned so much, but there are only two couples left in the game, three if you count Laura, Moret, and Sierra, and it's kind of brilliant the way that it worked out. Like, clearly playing as couples isn't going, like, people saw the threat of that. I don't know. I think the game works out better when you do end up playing with individuals, though I am curious to see what happens in the merge with the two or potentially three remaining couples. Let's talk about Tadhana for a little bit. I think I'm really relieved to see how well Tyson ended up playing it. Clearly, Aris was not threatened by Tyson at all. I definitely think last week's episode was editing Tyson to be way more obvious than he actually was. He was probably just being playful. So I'm reassured about that. And I mean, it was as I suspected, but I'm also glad to have the reassurance. And having Hayden be a lone player now was perfect timing to rope him in, because clearly Hayden was a little skeptical of Tyson's arrival, and now, like, having that alliance of five lone survivors, with Tyson, Jervis, Hayden, Caleb, and Sierra if Laura doesn't make it back. Though if Laura makes it back, that does put Sierra at, like, as a flight risk. But it was perfect timing, and I think that will work out really beautifully for those five players. I was a little bit disappointed to see how blind Aris was to all of this and how comfortable he was just going to meditate off on his own. I kind of expect Aris to be all-knowing, and maybe I'm being too hard on him for not realizing it, but I was a little bit disappointed, I'm not going to lie. As for Galang, I thought they did really well at the challenge. I'm really loving these challenges. They're physical, but, they really are anyone's game. So kudos to Survivor Challenge makers. Laura B definitely shot herself in the foot by opening her mouth. I mean, that was a huge mistake, huge, but I still think it was wrong to vote her out. Monica, Tina, and Katie just, like, were played like a fiddle by Vytas, and the fact that Laura B was voted out is honestly entirely to Vytas's credit. Entirely. I mean, he played it all right. Like, he did his best. I'm surprised he didn't like look for the idol, but that would have been another season, because this season isn't about the idol at all. Like, it's kind of like a throwback kind of season where the idol has no role. And I think it actually works better for players like Vytas, who I think if the idol had been in play, he would have looked for it, and then, you know, la-di-da, he would have played it, wouldn't have paid out for him as much long term. Whereas now the sky's the limit for Vytas. I mean, really. Other than that, I have to say Jeff Probst rocks. I really don't think anyone else could do it as well as Jeff, and his management of tribal council and just knowing everything was really brilliant. I think he should just have an Emmy for all eternity as best host ever. So we know now that next week there will only be one winner at Redemption who will re-enter the game. I think having John re-enter seems likely, and it would be a great opportunity for him to win, though, I mean, to, you know, have a chance at winning, though I still think it'll be hard. We did discuss this in the comments of my previous video, that re-entering the game after Redemption Island is just hard because you've been out of it for so long. You don't have those social connections. You just don't really know what's going on. The good thing with John is he's very likable, and now that Brad is out, like, Brad's not there to cause drama, really. I think John doesn't have any beef with anyone left in the game, and it could work out for him. I still think it would be a long shot, but it could. I think if Laura B or Laura M went back into the game, Laura M would be in a slightly better position because she has Sierra, but I still think that I don't think they would really have a chance. Aris and Vytas will be very strong now after the merge, but that also puts a huge target on their back. So I was trying to figure out what the alliances would be like at the merge, so bear with me here. We basically have our original 5 from Galang, right? We have Tyson, Jervis, Monica, who are all lone players, and then Aris and Tina, who also have Katie and Vytas. So all of a sudden we have an alliance of 7, which is an alliance that is way too big to actually work after a merge when the game becomes individual. I mean, sure, like, if they actually do end up playing this way, they could vote out the other 4 that are in the game, but I don't think that would pan out for them, especially because there are 2 couples in this alliance of 7, and the others are probably likely to not want to play with those couples. So I think if we eliminate Aris and Vytas, who will be pegged as targets and will probably want to play together and get played by the others they think they have alliances with, and we eliminate Katie and Tina, we're left with Monica, Tyson, and Jervis. So I think Monica, Tyson, and Jervis are probably going to align, although there is a chance that Monica will want to stick with Tina, but I think if she's smart enough, and I do believe in her, that she'll probably try to avoid being like she'd be at the bottom of the poll with Tina and Katie, although she could be the third, and if they end up going to the end, but I think that would still be risky. I think Monica would play her cards better by aligning with Tyson and Jervis at this point. Then I think that having Caleb, Hayden, and Sierra, at least Caleb and Hayden on their side, would give them all the majority so that they could vote out Tyson and Aris. I think Tyson and Aris will be broken up first vote. After the merge, one of them will be voted out. There's no way that with Tyson in there, and that they're going to let their emotions get the better of them in a vote again. So that's kind of how I think the alliances will fall away. I think Hayden, I think once Aris and Vytas are eliminated, Hayden and Caleb won't be of any use to Tyson and Jervis anymore, so that I think they'll be quickly eliminated. And I think Tyson still has a really great chance to win. And if Vytas and or Aris make it to the end, then they have it. No doubt about it. But I think it'll be very hard for them. So those are my thoughts on this episode of Survivor. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say, and I cannot wait for the merge and this second part of the game to launch. So happy Halloween, everybody, and I will see you guys next week.